Welcome back to 86, order number one. It's your boy Chef Fern Jr. I appreciate y'all for being with me at this wee time of the night. It is 2 a.m. in the morning, and we up and we doing it. We getting it. That's it. No ifs, ands, buts, and maybes. So, in episode in order zero, we have 40 total questions. Now today we've come back with an additional, I want to say 19 to 20 questions. I think I answered 22 on the last one, which is kind of salty because I think I miscounted somewhere, but that's besides the point. The point is we're going to finish up the rest of these questions, and these some bangers. Like, I was going through, because I had to put them in order, put them on the fine. Some of these questions, some heat. Like, y'all ain't gonna want to miss some of these. All right. First question. How do you describe your overall cooking philosophy? You cook with respect, right? You cook with respect. If you cook with respect, you'll always get the best product. If you respect your product, you will always be successful. I mean, I'm not saying your dish will always be successful, but you will get the best out of your product. Especially if you know how to prepare it, if you know what to do with it. Like, you won't boil no filet mignon, you feel me? That's disrespectful to the filet. Like, come on. Who? You out here boiling fillets. Like, that would be in a sense disrespecting food. You're gonna sear it, you're gonna grill it, get nice little color, season it up. It's gonna be basted, it's gonna be amazing. Respect your food, you will always get the best results from your dish. And also, you gotta cook with love. Like, you gotta cook with passion. Because if you don't have those two things, like, food is just something you consume. And don't get me wrong, to some people, food is just something you consume, and that's cool. But from the videos I've posted about food, like, y'all know I feel up to here. Like, up to my home planet Saturn. That's how I feel about food. So it's like, those two things, to me, are definitely the most important of my philosophy. Because those two things have the most impact on the dish, if I'm being totally honest. Name two of your strengths and two of your weaknesses as a chef. So one of my strengths, and everybody told me this is crazy, one of my strengths is that I'm very, 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 very calm under pressure. I have this very calm demeanor. Like, I don't get stressed out. Well, I'm not saying I don't get stressed out, but in like kitchen cooking situations, I don't really get stressed out because I've been through it all. Like, once you go through one kind of kitchen situation, you go through all kind of kitchen situations. Like, from people getting fired abruptly, from me being the guy in charge, from not having no kind of prep, not having no kind of whatever, not having the resources you need. I always keep calm because it got to get done. It's a solution somewhere. We have to find it. There's no point in harping on what went wrong. Let's harp on what can we do right. Another strength of mine, I'm real good at multitasking, but I feel like that's kind of like a cop out. So I'm really not going to do this, but especially in like restaurant settings where we have abilities and freedoms to be creative in a sense and make specials, like, I'm always wanting to put a special out because I'm always wanting to be out here making food that may not seem like, that's different, or, whoa, what is this? Like, oh, that's crazy. And people are like, yo, this was like amazing. Like, this was like, whoa, so who thought that this would be just this good? Give an example. When I worked at a restaurant called Must and Turner's, I was a sous chef over there maybe like a year and a half ago. No, actually, this was this past March where I stopped working there, but this specific instance probably like a year ago. We had these habaneros, right? These habaneros that we weren't going to use because we stopped I don't want to say we stopped, but we kind of slowed down on making our like special hot sauce. So they were all going bad. So I picked through all the good ones. I I soaked them in vinegar to get all the heat out. So basically, when you eat the pepper, it kind of like nullifies. I don't even if that's, I don't even know if that's a real word, but it kind of took away all that heat. I wound up splitting them in half, breading them and frying them. Um, now it's trying. I took some. Now it's coming back to me. I took some mayo and I wanted mayo and apricot jam, mixed it up to make kind of a spread for a sandwich. Took deep fried chicken breast. Oh, trying to remember this because the sandwich was called the Dirty Birdie. You feel me? But it was basically like a fried habanero. Oh, it had a fried habanero. It had a habanero slaw, and that was coming back to me. It had like cabbage, red onions, habaneros. Because I took those soaked habaneros, some of them, sliced them up, put them in that slaw. So the sandwich was like crunchy, had texture, it was spicy, but then the apricot mayo gave you that nice, like cool, like common, like balance of like sweetness. And when I tell you, like we sold out in like one day, it was supposed to be like a 2 day special, but it was so popular and we ran out of habaneros. Like people was loving it, and I feel like that's one of my strengths. Like any kind of food that's left over, about to go bad, extra, I'm always one to like, yo, let's try to make this, like, or I got this bomb idea for this, or let's do this, let's just try it. Like, even if the dish is bad, at least I tried it. So now I know what doesn't work with this specific product. But if it's good, I can always back pocket that like this. If I was excuse me, trust me, if I was to feed y'all this sandwich, changer, game changer. Two of my weaknesses. Ooh, this is Um. Oh, let me see. So I can be very, like, you know what? I'll just do it myself kind of attitude, because then it's just kind of bad. But in my mind, I'm always thinking like, when we're cooking, we're working. We should all have the same kind of urgency and the same kind of attention to detail that I tend to present when I'm in that kind of environment, in that kind of setting. But sometimes I realize that people don't have that kind of, that same mentality, same urgency, same drive. And it could be very, very frustrating. Like very, 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 very frustrating. And that's okay. Like I've come to terms like, people don't have to have the same culinary drive as me, and that's fine. But I do see sometimes I can be like, you know what, I'll just do it myself. And it always is better to ask for help. It always is better to learn how to communicate what you actually need, especially in the kitchen setting, because then you get what you want. If you explain it to somebody exactly the way you want it and you show them, you'll get exactly what you want. If you don't, you kind of have like a preset expectation for that person, which is not good at all. Not good. What's the second weakness? That's a toughie. And I ain't saying like I'm hot shit, because I am hot shit, but I'm just trying to be transparent. So let me hit my little thought bubble real quick. Let me hit the little I can say honestly that sometimes I can take on bad habits of the environments that I'm in, or the workspaces or the kitchens that I'm in, if we're being, all the same thing, kitchens, environments, workspaces. But I can take on some bad habits, some people, if I get a little too comfortable, and, things that I see that the kitchen may be comfortable with that other kitchens wouldn't let fly. Like, let's say, for being honest, like eating on the line, like, that's like really a no-go. But some kitchens allow that kind of stuff because cooks be busy. And I'm not making excuses for them, but cooks be busy. They can't step off. Their station is too, like, important to their operation. but that is kind of a bad habit. It is a bad habit I picked up. I try my best not to, especially if it's like the restaurant is like, oh nah, we don't allow that. Like go in the back or go outside. But if it's like the kitchen is like lenient towards it, I've seen myself pick that up. That's just gotta keep it $150, gotta keep it 150. That's okay. What's next? What chefs do you follow on social media or admire their work and career in general? So then this might sound very cliche, but Gordon Ramsay, like he is like really like the Michael Jordan of like culinary. Like to me, he was the face of culinary for a very, very long time. Like a very, very long time. And it was just like so impactful just to see like, and I've watched a lot of like Hell's Kitchen, MasterChef, and when it was a specific episode, this is funny. It was like I forgot what season the Hell's Kitchen it was. Yeah, Hell's Kitchen it was. And the guys team had one that was like maybe like 6 guys left. So they were kind of like getting close towards like the middle of the season, end of the season. And it was like 6 guys left. And they won. And he took them paintballing. And fucking paintballs hurt. Like paintballing is hella fun, but paintballs hurt. But that's like the perfect team building like activity. He took him paintballing, and it was like night and day. Like his demeanor towards him, like he was able to come out of chef mode and have fun with them, and like gain trust with them, and just be a human, even still like being, all right, I'm your boss. Like, and I was like, damn, like that's crazy. And I swore like the men's team, they won like 2 more events in a row, and that's the kind of like that's what I picked up. Like a lot of chefs, even on TV, I didn't see them kind of do those things. It was more so just like for work and for chefing and, whatever the case may be. But to see a chef of that caliber and that kind of light, I was like, yo, this is like, that changed me like mentally. Like that was game changing. I was like, damn, you got to be able to relate to your staff, because if they just see you as this high and mighty, this like dictator, they'll like it'll be fear. But you want it to be genuine. You want it to be like, hey, like I respect you as a chef, but like you respect me, and I know you respect me. Like you don't want it to be where like I respect you because you're a chef, but I'm fearful of you. So I feel like I'm like worthless, and if I fuck up and you start cursing me out or you start yelling, shit that might break me. Like, you got to be able to relate to your people. That's why I'm very, very stressful on that. But Gordon Ramsay, when I was younger, Emerald, like Rachel Ray, Bobby Flay, even some personal chefs like Chef Millie. I found he from Philly. Chef Kelvin, I forgot where Chef Kelvin was from. A lot of my peer chefs like Chef Above and Beyond, Chef Shane, Chef Remy, Chef Zay. Who else? Who else can I shout out? Chef LaFon, Chef Bree, Chef De Niro. But so like some people, take breaks from chefing or find different outlets from chefing, and that's perfectly fine because chefing is very, as we spoke about, very, very stressful in every way. Hold on, me. Don't do me like laptop. There we go. Boot up for me. But yeah, a lot of people like, I admire them in their careers because everybody's path is different. And when you see people hit certain pinnacles, and I don't want to say pinnacles, but certain heights in their career that are new or they're excelling, and it's like, damn, like that lights a fire under me. Like that gets me like, oh, get me going, get me a little flowing, get me moving, and get me motivated. That's a good word. I don't know why I think I'm motivated. What is your vision? So my vision in a culinary standpoint, I do want to have a restaurant. Like I want my restaurant to be named Vinyls. I have a nice concept for it. Maybe I'll sneak peek that one day. Drop the menu on there. Might do a little pop up, but that is my vision. Like I would love to have a restaurant because just having that kind of creativity and bringing that kind of food to light, like without any boundaries, like you can set limitless boundaries for yourself. Like that's amazing. Like I would thoroughly enjoy that. That would be super fun. Having our restaurant, and I wanted to, and I spoke about this on the first episode, but I want to try all the food in the world. Like I want to travel the world and try all the food because I know the food is so different, and I know it's so much better. And I've heard so many stories. I've seen so much. I've watched so many videos. Did so much research. So many research. That's crazy. Did so much research. Like I want to go around the world and try all the food and be a world-renowned food critic. And this might. I don't want to say like dreaming when I say this, but I want to go into a restaurant. People are like, oh shit, they go Chef Vern. Hold on. All right, we gotta go crazy. We gotta bring it out. Like we got some heat for him to try. That's the kind of vibe I feel like in my soul. Yeah, that's deep. That sounds shallow. I'm sorry, but I feel that like in my soul. If you could have a kitchen 100% your way, what would you do? Man, it'd be cross utilization everywhere. Like we bringing in whole product, we fabricating, we having workshops on fabricating for like younger chefs who want to learn that kind of stuff. We using the bones to make stock. We using all vegetables to make stock. Like I want it to be scratched, and I want it to be we use every part of the animal or every part of the product or every part of the produce or whatever, because one, it costs money. And food is hella expensive nowadays. But I just wanted to be like scratch. I wanted to be wholesome. Like, yeah, we made this in-house. Like, this comes from our kitchen because we passionate about this and we put the care into it. Love, man. Put the love and the passion into it. Come on. Where you're at now is where you're at now where you thought you would be. No. No, not at all. Not at all. I can say that I've hit a lot of different heights in my journey in my career. For being a sous chef, being an executive chef, being a dining director, and a lot of chefs don't hit those kind of heights and plateaus until they're like older, like 35, 40. Like some places want you to have like 25 years of experience to be a goddamn executive chef. Like, what? 25 years? Bro, that's essentially a quarter of my life. That's crazy. And then if you start at 18 to be 44 and be an executive chef, like, you finna be working. You finna be working. Because executive chefs, they always there. Even though some, the stronger your team get, the more that you are out of the kitchen. The chef's always still there. Like, I was always at the job. And just to be like, damn, I'm only 30 and I've been in these positions, like, that just shows the dedication to myself, my craft, my knowledge, like being motivated enough to not settle for what I already accomplished, like wanting more. Like, I want to be in this position. I want to be making this kind of money. I want to be doing this, like, just fucking going, like, hungry, as they would say. I was hungry for success and what is like my vision of success. But nah. I would not have thought where I am now is where I would have been, let's say, like 10 years ago. Next question. Your ultimate dream goal. That does kind of tie along with what is your vision, but to be a world-renowned food critic, to travel the world and try all the foods, and to have my own restaurant. on a culinary perspective. When we do a King's Coffee episode, we might, we'll get into the goals. We'll get into the goals like on a general perspective. We'll definitely do that. But this is more so culinary. Hardest part about being in your position. Okay. So I'm a so I can't talk. Taking this from like an executive chef, dining director kind of angle. The hardest part about being in that position, to me, it wasn't dealing with employees. It wasn't like creating the menus. It was, in a sense, trading like a significant portion of my time just to like work and to be very, very detailed and to like do the things that people don't see or don't appreciate. Like that was kind of the hardest part because I don't have a problem holding people accountable, especially in a work setting, especially as like a manager or a boss. I don't have a problem with that. Like, hey, come here, me talk to you. Here go this write up. This was going on. Boom, boom, bang, bang. You feel me? That's it. I don't got a problem creating menus. I don't got a problem having meetings, having tough conversations. Having an opinion. But it was very not annoying, not bad, but slightly irritating when you see things that are like incorrect or like bad or could be improved, and it's kind of like a habit amongst whatever kitchen you're in, and like fixing it and like being the one to put the hours in to make sure that all right, this is the way that we have to do things, or putting the hours in to make sure that the oven come in properly and the oven is getting installed properly, or just coming in later to do orders and make sure the order is good because you're off on the weekend or you're off this day. Like the hardest part about it is the time. Like a huge dedication, a huge part of your time and your life goes to those positions. But in a sense, that's what they paying you for. See, my coach paying you. Where we get hurt. Next question. If you learned something one way, how would you spin it and make it different? So I think that does go with like being creative, like being interested in like a product's like natural state, let's say like hollandaise sauce, and thinking about ways like you can enhance it, change it, make it differently. Like one thing about hollandaise sauce, since we on the topic of hollandaise sauce, if y'all ever had eggs Benedict, hollandaise sauce is the perfect sauce to complement eggs Benedict. So traditionally hollandaise sauce is made in a stainless steel bowl, and it is stirred. Recently, I've seen chefs make hollandaise sauce in a blender, like a NutriBullet, and that always kind of just like threw me off guard because I'm like, this is like technically like incorrect. Like you get the same kind of motion, the same kind of. Oh, that was nasty. Excuse me, like emulsifying it, but chefs will go crazy if they see people making hollandaise sauce in a blender in a NutriBullet. Like no. You would get cursed out by old school chef. They would curse you out, and you'll be upset. But something that's different is like taking something like a beef Wellington. I've got a crave for beef Wellington. Like a beef Wellington, making like a venison Wellington. Even going maybe it's creative like a chicken Wellington. Like what is one thing? I'm trying to think of one thing I've done. Oh, so like risotto. I used to make like quinoa risotto, like with mascarpone cheese, and they used to be bussin'. Like, and I'm not a fan of quinoa, but this was a way for me to eat quinoa with the quinoa risotto with some nice halibut. Ooh, ooh, you don't want to do it to yourself. It's gonna be a good night. It's gonna be a good night. Yeah, that's a good example. That's definitely a good example. Next question. Favorite food to eat when I was younger. See, I'm from Philly, PA, born and raised. I could always say a cheesesteak. The cheesesteak is just so nostalgic. Like, it's just so, like, you eating the cheesesteak, it's like, oh, it's beefy, it's soft. Me, I'm extra, so I get fried onions, sauteed mushrooms, salt, pepper, ketchup, mayo, all that. Next level. Or better yet, it was his place. It was like on, I want to say, it wasn't like, it was like Frankfurt. I forgot what neighborhood, but the L train used to drive past this little shop called Teddy's. It was maybe like 3 stops from my house, so probably like 10-minute drive, like 25-minute walk, and they always had this bussin' ass pepperoni cheesesteak. And when I'm telling you, that shit used to go so crazy. Like, I can definitely say I've consumed over like 30 of them in my time in Philly, like maybe like 35. Mm. Teddy should get all my money. Like for summers, stay at Teddy's. Yeah, cheesesteaks. So I'm a big sandwich guy. So like hoagies. You can say soul food, but even now I still eat soul food, and I make my soul food a little different than traditional soul food. But for the most nostalgic, I get cheesesteaks, sandwiches. Like those always bring me back to them days where it was simpler. I ain't had no bills. I can get a classic cheesesteak on a long roll. Now it was like 6-inch rolls. Like, come on, really, really, you can't take that away from the cheesesteak. Like, that's not fair to Philadelphians at all. It's not fair. Who is your culinary idol? I would say Gordon Ramsay, man. Yeah. Like, I feel like I do have a lot more chefs, but their names are not like coming to my head. Like, I've always been pretty, well, not, I've always been not the best with chef names. Like, I know a few, but not too many. But definitely like Gordon Ramsay. Like, that man is the Michael Jordan. Like, it's just like his movements are so like, I don't want to say perfect, but they're like flawless. It's like a skater just ice skating. Like, it's like, oh, it's so flawless. Like, it's so like amazing. It's just graceful. That's a good word, graceful. Next question. What are some of the important lessons you've learned in the industry? Man, teamwork. Fuck teamwork making the dream work. Like, teamwork and make this motherfucker run so much smoother. Um, not everybody not everybody understands what you understand. So you have to be able to talk to people. Um, Egos destroy a team. Oh man, this is good. Egos destroy a team. Don't have an ego when you're working in the kitchen. What else? See, now it's a lot. I'm just trying to pick out the ones that's like catching me. Never feel discouraged. Never feel like you're a shitty chef. Never ever. Never. If you put time and work into your craft, never ever feel like you a shitty chef. Oh, on your laptop. Hmm. Let me give y'all two more lessons I learned in the industry. Not everybody is passionate. Not everybody is passionate about cooking, about food. Some people just do it because they have a talent. Some people just do it because they're able to squeeze in and fit into the industry. Some people do it for the money. But I can tell you there are less and less people who do it for the food and do it for the passion. So do it for the passion. Do it for the food. Do it for the guests. What's the last one? What's the last one? And take care of yourself. Like, we spend so much hours. I'm not gonna say we. I've spent so much hours, so many hours. I've spent so many hours in kitchens. Like, I can recall days getting off 1 in the morning and having to be back at 7 to open brunch. I can recall days where whole schedules are being flipped because of, like something else, another like peer manager or chef is going through and we have to cover. Like, I remember all them days. Like, I remember the ways I slept. I remember being up, being cranky in the morning, being tired, and just pushing through and just getting it done. Take care of yourself. I had to learn that the hard way. Next question. What keeps you going through the stressful and bad days? I'm not perfect at all. I'm not perfect. Everybody has bad and stressful days. It's not a like a consistent thing. Like, it's not like a personal thing, I should say. Everybody has bad and stressful days. So it's more so like just understand that they come in waves. Like, some days you might not be on it. You might not be making the burgers properly. You might not be searing your fish properly. You might have to mess some things up. Some things you might burn. Shit happens. It happens. Don't let it get you down. I've seen the best of chefs. I've seen master chefs burn pans or get food sent back. I've seen chefs that are high quality struggle in the line, like in a line setting on the saute setting. Everybody has bad days. You ain't the only one. You ain't. And I ain't either. Shit, we all have them. Next question. Why culinary? Well, I'm greedy. I like to eat. And food is just like always felt like food was like peace. Like, it was like common. Like, it was chaotic, but it was like art. And I feel like when people paint and they create art, sometimes it's chaotic. Like, they're just creating. They have a vision. They have to put it on paper, and they may feel chaotic. It might not feel that way, but that's how I perceive it. And I feel like the same way with like food, like it's art. Like, we do so much to put food on the plate for somebody to consume, and no matter how it's plated, what it looks like, what it comes out, what the presentation is, people gonna always remember how it tastes. So even with that, like, I feel like I have a very, very good palate. Like, very, very good palate. Like, it was this anime called, I forgot what it was called. I think it's Food Wars, but it was this character on there, and she had the golden palate, and she would taste something, she would go into hallucination, then something dumb would happen. Like, one time she had a gorilla drop on her head. So she woke up and told the student that, hey, your food tastes so bad, it tastes like a gorilla dropped on my head while I was in the jacuzzi. Because she was in the jacuzzi when it happened. And I was like, that's oddly specific, but that's kind of weird too. But I do feel like, I don't want to say I got a golden palate, because, we still, we ain't taste everything. But I know what tastes good together. And I'll be like, damn, if I can make this and make that, or this can make this, that'd be busting. And another thing, just more so like for the culture, I've always told myself when I was back in Philly and I was living in, like, for people that don't know, Frankfurt, living in North Philly, living in Allegheny, I was like, man, I want to try all these foods and learn how to do this so I can bring it back to the people that should be trying these foods. Like, we eat the same. We was eating the same stuff like consistently every day. Like, my mom used to cook, but cheesesteaks, hoagies, burgers, and even though that stuff is like nostalgic, it's comfort food. Like, it's a lot more food out here than just that, just the same old food. And that's the one thing I'm always preaching. Like, yo, it's a lot more food out here than just the food that we used to. And I was like, I'm gonna find how to make all this food. I'm gonna bring it back here. Everybody try it. They're gonna be like, yo, this food is amazing. And we're gonna be eating some high quality shit. High quality shit. That's the key word right there. High quality. If someone were to cook for you, what would it be? It's whatever. It's whatever. You can cook for me. It's whatever. Just let me know. It's not a thing. I don't want to say I don't eat. Like, certain things I stray away from, like kimchi. I'm not a fan of kimchi. I'm sorry, kimchi lovers. I'm not a fan of kimchi. What else don't I like? Like olives. It depends on what it's on. Like antipasta, maybe like a tapenade. All right, but just olives by themselves, nah. Radishes, it depends. Like pickled, yeah. In a salad, yeah. Regular, nah. Mm, yeah. Like I'm willing to try anything. So if you gonna cook something and you got a secret recipe, yeah, throw it down. Let's get it. I'm just time to eat. But if I would have somebody cook something for me, yeah. Oh, that's tough. I would want it to be personal to that person. Like, yo, this is my specialty, so I'm gonna make it for you. I don't want to just choose because then I'm gonna have an expectation for it. How do you? I'm sorry. Next question. How do you aspire creativity to you, your team, to you and your team in the kitchen? Man, if you come to me, say you work with me, right? You on my staff, or we work together, and you come to me like, yo, I got this idea, yo, we got this ingredient. I think it could be busted. I want to do this and that. Let's fucking run it. Let's run it. That's it. Let's try it. Trial and error. Let's get it. You got my support, especially if you tell me about it. And I'm very visual. Like my brain moves. So I'm imagining the food or whatever. Yeah, let's run it. Let's try it. Like, yeah, let's do it and let's taste it and let's critique it and let's figure out, is this the way we want to do it? Can we improve it, or is it perfect? Can we boom boom boom? What else can we do? Like, let's run it. Like, I don't. Creativity is what keeps this thing going. Like, creativity is what keeps the world moving. To me. So yeah, I'm not about to stifle nobody's creativity. I'm gonna tell you, no, that's trash. What? Cut it out. Cut it out. What's your why? What keeps you going? What keeps you going and motivated? So my why for culinary, it would be to guess, like seeing people's faces when I make certain food or just make any food, and they are pleased and satisfied, and it brings them back to a time where they're happy and nostalgic. Like, that give me goosebumps. I'd be like, ooh, yeah, Brian, you still got it. You goated. You could do this 24/7. Like, that's my why. I'm like, yeah, we gotta. Mm, we gotta get this going. I don't know. I had a brain fart. I'm sorry. Is it the is it the fatigue? It could be. It is definitely 2:36, but we going strong. We almost at the 40-minute mark. And the final question: how do you deal with dickhead chefs, executive chefs? So I am a person who, you know, I don't mind confrontation, but I would rather give you respect and talk to you privately, because when we're talking privately, we can be direct and open without any kind of outside what's the word, outside like persuasion or interference. And I'll very very transparent, like I'll tell you what's going on, how I feel, like whatever is on my mind. Now, nowadays, being older, I'll just leave a job. Like, all right, I'm done. Like, y'all might not get even the honor of me giving y'all 2 weeks. I just leave a job. Professionally, there may be some words in there for the chef, like being reactive. And I ain't gonna lie, there will be some words in there for the chef. But when I was a little younger, like, nah, it was more so like, you gonna hear what I have to say in front of whoever it is. Like, especially if people are like blatantly being dickheads and just being assholes, like, nah, you're gonna get the same kind of energy. And if it's a problem, I will still leave this bitch. Like, I will definitely go find another job somewhere else, because my skills have to. Let me tell y'all this story. Tell y'all this story before we go and get up out of here. I used to work at the Hilton Atlanta. Right, worked at the Hilton Atlanta downtown. We had the chef, and I was in the banquets too. We had the chef. Initially, cool older guy. It's all good. Cool. The guy, he was so he been the chef over that department for maybe some number of years, like 10 years, whatever the time frame was. This one day we had this. There was a lot going on. This like fall festival, not fall festival. It was like fall time. I don't know why I said fall festival. It was fall time, and we had like a lot of banquets going on. But we had like fall vegetables on one of our banquet menus. It's like Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes, red potatoes, like carrots, all the whole nine. So I made a nice little batch, put some little honey in them things, some maple, seasoned them up. They was perfect. My One of my coworkers was like, "Yo, bro, these is busting. Like these is lit," and I could see out the corner of my eye the banquet chef in the back like hating, like for the ones who could see my face, like hating, just hating. So internally, I started laughing. So as my peer walk away, the chef come over. He try it, and I'm like, "How was it?" He's like, "Oh, it's all right. It's all right." And I was like, "Bro, you hate it, bro." And even before my peer tried them, I had like four other people try them. They was loving them. They said, "Yo, these is vegetables is popping. Like, I don't know what you did, but we need to keep doing them for this." So he was like, "Oh yeah, you need to be doing some other stuff. And like, you need to be figuring out what's going on." And there was no communication about what happened. No communication about like what were you looking at me to do? And I was like, "Well, what you need me to do?" Like, talk to me. He's like, "Oh, you the sous chef. You need to figure it out." And I was like, "Bro, you the banquet chef. You supposed to tell me what I'm doing." So he catch an attitude. He walk away like, "Yeah, people better get it figured out before I start snapping on people in here." I was like, "What?" Say that. Let's say about 10 minutes had passed. We got the parties out. Like, "Bro, let me talk to you in the hallway real quick." Pulled him right in the hallway. Like, "Listen, I'm here to help you. All that disrespectful shit, I ain't gonna take that. Cause if we got a problem, we could handle our problem. How we gonna handle it? But you ain't finna talk to me no kind of way." He was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I ain't mean it like that. Like, boom, 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 blah, blah, blah." Like once you get to that point, I stop listening to you. I'm just like, whatever. Like, this is what I'm saying to you. So we haven't had this conversation again. You just know that I've already talked to you about this. So my reaction is based on what you doing. But I remember he was like, "Yeah, you a man. My bad. I went. I ain't mean do you like that. Boom, boom, boom." So I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm just letting you know what's up." After that, it was no more disrespect. And he was an asshole to a lot of the other peers. Like, he's do dumbass shit and dickhead ass shit. And they would curse his ass out too. But after that day, we ain't had no problems. But then he got fired for stealing meat. Crazy. Crazy how karma work, right? That's crazy. But I appreciate y'all on this late night episode of 86. Episode 1 to be exact. And thank y'all for coming to my TED Talk. My podcast. And we got some special guests coming up this week. I can't spoil too much, but just know we got it in the pipeline. We got it in the pipeline. But man, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.